Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the John Campea Show here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and as always, it is an honor and a privilege to have you guys joining me here today as we talk about all of our favorite things, talking about the world of movies and television, things going on in the news, and other things that you guys like to talk about. Now, today is Friday, so I've been hearing from some of you guys that you would like, for those of you who watch the show live, that you would like to have a little bit extra time every once in a while to have some extra live Twitter questions. So we're going to do that today. Today I have just a couple of items in the world of movie news. Now, once I get past those, I'm just going to take Twitter questions from you guys who are watching live for the rest of the show. Now, normally I like to take a lot of emails from you guys. Now, here's how you send in an email normally to the John Campea Show, because usually most of the show is just taking the emails that you guys send in. Here's how you get a topic or a question on the show. Just email me anytime at john@thejohncampeashow.com. Once again, that's john@thejohncampeashow.com. And this is important, guys. Make sure you put that word topic in the subject line. And when you do send in an email, make sure you keep it to 90 words or less, or else I can't even fit the email on the screen. So do that. But today, like I said, I got two items I'm going to talk about. And then I'm just going to spend the rest of the show taking the live questions from you guys on Twitter. How do you guys watching live get a question on live? Simple. Tweet to me at John Campea. It's just that simple. And look, I know I'm not going to be able to get to every single Twitter question that gets sent in, but keep your eye open. Maybe you'll see your tweet on the bottom of the screen. All right, with that out of the way, let's move on to item number one. And item number one has to do with Justice League and something a lot of people have been asking about. Now, a whole bunch of people, I don't know why, but almost seem panicked. People have been panicked that there haven't been any announcements about Justice League ticket sales or anything like that. I don't know why there's been panic. Look, Justice League, Thor, Star Wars. Yeah, sometimes they put their tickets on sale well in advance, but let's be honest. Whether Thor puts its advanced ticket sales on sale a month before the movie comes out or a week before the movie comes out, they're going to sell the same amount of tickets for opening weekend. People are going to go see it opening weekend, whether you put the tickets on sale 5 weeks in advance or 1 week in advance. Same thing with Star Wars, same thing with Justice League. So we know at some point they were going to put the tickets for Justice League on sale. So this isn't big news, but I can tell you this. Because a lot of you guys have been asking me about when the tickets will finally go on sale. I have received a bunch of information with minor conflicting reports. And the basic of it is this. I found out that the tickets for Justice League will go on sale on October 25th. Now, the slightly conflicting bit of news I have is that I've got one source that is telling me something just slightly different, which is that the tickets will be announced on the 25th and then actually go on sale on the 26th. So, but basically you've got a 24-hour window there. So don't worry. The bottom line is tickets for Justice League are going on sale this coming week. So for those of you who've been waiting to get your advanced tickets, you want to get your tickets in advance, you want to get them locked in, you want to start maybe you're planning a tailgate party. Don't laugh. I actually know some people that have tailgate parties in movie theater parking lots prior to like Star Wars movies and some other big films. Maybe some of you guys are planning to have a Justice League tailgate party. But for those of you who are trying to make your plans, the tickets are coming on sale. Now, I've also been hearing that they're going to make the big announcement about the tickets going on sale during the World Series. That during the World Series, they're going to have a special announcement. It's kind of like the way Marvel leverages Monday Night Football to show their first trailer or whatever. From what I understand, and again, I cannot confirm this at any rate. I'm just telling you what I've been hearing. What I've been hearing is that they are probably going to be making their big announcement at the World Series, but that the tickets are going on sale. So for all of us who have been just waiting to get our teeth into some Justice League tickets and book that thing and make it real and make it official, it's coming this week. So no need to panic. No need to do anything about that. So it's coming. It'll be next week. It will be next week. That much I know. All right. So with that much out of the way, and by the way, guys, do you think that's significant? Do you think, I don't think there's any significance. Honestly, I don't even think this is a news story, but I know a lot of people have been keeping their eyes, waiting, refreshing their news feeds, trying to find out when the Justice League tickets go on sale, but they're here. They are coming this week. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is significant? Do you think it has no significance at all? Let me know why you think what you think. Jump into the comments section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, let's move on now to the next item here. And this is something that my messages were getting just flooded yesterday, whether it's been on Twitter, on Facebook, on email, in comment sections, whatever. It was announced yesterday that Punisher, finally, we've got a release date for Punisher. We've been waiting for it, and the official release date is now November 17th. That's when Punisher... I can't remember the last time, honestly, I don't think it was since Daredevil Season 2 that people have been this excited about the release of one of the Netflix shows. I mean, within the Marvel universe, of course. People are very much looking forward to Stranger Things too. And we can talk about that another time. But I can't remember the last time there was this much hype, this much excitement for the release. I mean, people were excited for Defenders, but I didn't feel this kind of excitement from the audience that I am feeling for Punisher. Like I said, I haven't felt this kind of excitement since Daredevil Season 2 came out. So it comes out on November 17th. Now we know that. But wait a minute, a lot of people thought. November 17th. Why does that date sound familiar? Why does that sound familiar? Oh, that's right. That's the day Justice League opens, at least officially. That's the day Justice League opens. So they were looking at releasing Punisher in October. They couldn't release, it's Netflix. They can release this thing anytime they want. And yet they chose the exact date that Justice League happens to be landing in theaters. The exact same day. Now, I've got a bunch of people started writing to me last night saying, John, like, is this seriously, is this an innocent coincidence? Surely the people at Marvel and Netflix knew that Justice League opens on November 17th. Is this, and here's the overriding question I've been hearing from people and seeing on different chat forums and stuff like that. Is Marvel trying to screw with DC? Now, a little bit of a asterisk to this. You guys know me. For those of you who watch me for any period of time, I believe Marvel and DC, the movie studios, cheer for each other. I believe they know that they live in the same demographic, and if they want the comic book genre to thrive, they need their competitor's product to thrive as well. When the competitor's product thrives, that means the overall health of the comic book genre is good and strong with the audience, and that means good things for their product as well. I believe they cheer for each other. I really do. We've heard Jeff Johns and we've heard Kevin Feige say as much, that we need our competition to do well. Because if they do well, that means better things for us as well. They know that. I don't know why fans don't understand that, but the heads of DC and Marvel know that. Anyway, now, so understand that. That's my position on this. Also keeping this in mind too. If you look at the last couple of shows, the Marvel-based shows that Netflix has launched, the last two shows that they've launched, which were The Defenders and Iron Fist, both of those shows launched on the third Friday of a month. The Defenders launched on the 18th. Iron Fist launched on the 17th. So before that, they were all over the place. But the last two, if you're looking for a pattern, Netflix and Marvel have released their shows on the third Friday of the month. Just like this is the third Friday of the month, November 17th. The last show launched on an 18th. That's the third Friday of the month. The show before that launched on the 17th, third Friday of the month. So it's not like this is completely out of character. I think the one before that launched on like September 30th or something like that. But anyway, the last couple of films have suggested a pattern. So keep that in mind. So really, this could just be Netflix and Marvel feel that launching their shows on the third of the month, for whatever reason, is best for their shows. They did it with the last couple of shows. They're doing it again with Punisher. Could be as innocent as that. Now, understanding that I'm one of those guys who say these two companies cheer for each other. They want to outdo the other one for sure. They want to do better than the other one, but they want to do better because they're doing great. They don't want to do better because the other guy's doing bad. That doesn't help them. The other guy doing bad doesn't help either Marvel or DC. Marvel and DC wants to be number one, but because they themselves are doing great, not because the other guy's suffering. So understanding that I believe that, understanding that I believe there's been a pattern that Netflix and Marvel have had with releasing their shows on the third Fridays of the month, at least for the last two shows. Even I, the guy who's been like yelling at everybody, there's no problem here, that even I have to look at this and going, you have complete power over your platform. You could release Punisher any day you want. You can release it on a Monday afternoon at 4:45 a.m. Well, that would be the morning. Okay, so we'll go 4:45 p.m. You could release it in the morning at 3:25 a.m. if you wanted to, because it's your platform. You can release it whenever you want. And as far as, our pattern has been that we release it on the third Friday of the month. Okay, yeah, I get that. But Justice League, what will probably be the biggest comic book movie of the year, I still believe that. I still believe Justice League is going to be, box office wise at any rate, I believe Justice League is going to be the biggest comic book movie of the year. We'll see if that turns out or not. But, or at least at the very minimum, you have to agree it's going to be one of the biggest comic book movies of the year. And you're going to put out your comic book entertainment centric show on the same day? Number one, that doesn't seem incredibly bright for your own product. Now, granted, it's Netflix. They don't have to watch it the moment it drops. People on Netflix can come and watch it anytime they want. Okay, yeah, there's that argument to make, absolutely. But you have to at least be a little bit aware that dropping Punisher on the same day that Justice League is coming out could potentially hurt the opening weekend of Justice League. Look, maybe the numbers are big, maybe the numbers are small, but there is no denying that there are going to be some people that may have been planning to go see Justice League on opening weekend, and now will have changed their plans. So, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to binge Punisher opening weekend. Maybe I'll see Justice League later in the week. Now, whether those numbers are big or small, there is no denying there are going to be some people out there that have that mentality. I'm curious for you guys on the chat board. Like, are any of you on the chat board right now, would you fall into that category? That, yeah, I was planning on seeing Justice League opening weekend, but now that I know Punisher is dropping, I'm going to stay home and watch that. Again, there may be hundreds of thousands of you out there. Maybe there's only a couple of thousand of you out there. Maybe the number's huge. Maybe the number's small. And I got to believe that the people at Netflix and Marvel are smart enough to know that fact. That us doing this is going to be a disruptive force in the whole comic book genre thing of entertaining. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like it. And now, I'm not saying this is a conspiracy. I am not standing on a soapbox and saying they did this on purpose. I'm not saying that. But I am saying they had to at least be aware that this was going to be a disruptive thing, releasing this show on the same day as Justice League. They had to at least be a little bit aware that this is a disruptive thing. And I don't think this is a good move. I think ultimately this isn't great for Punisher, and clearly it's not great for Justice League either. So, I don't know. And, maybe this story ties into the last story that I was talking about. That, look, the Justice League tickets are going to go on sale this coming week. Probably the 25th, maybe the 26th. But, they're coming out next week. Did Netflix know that too and say, okay, well, before the tickets go on sales, guys, Marvel and Netflix gathering together, let's announce the Punisher release date now before the tickets go on sale so people don't buy their tickets first. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying, there's a bunch of people out there that the cranks in their heads are going that way. It's like, wait a minute. That's why they announced the Punisher release date now, so they could tell people about Punisher coming out on the 17th before Justice League starts selling their tickets. Again, I'm not saying that's the case whatsoever, but some people have those gears going in their heads right now. But whether you believe this was premeditated move, or whether you don't believe that, you at least have to acknowledge they were aware of the situation. They know this is going to be disruptive, and I just don't like it. I don't like the move. Now, I am going to be one of these guys who I do not sleep on the weekend that starts on November 17th, because I am going to both see Justice League, maybe twice, on that weekend, and I'm going to binge watch the entire series of Punisher. I'm going to somehow fit that all into the same weekend. So I am not going to affect the outcome, because I'm one of these losers that's going to do both. But we'll see. What do you guys think in the chat board? How do you think? And here's a bigger question. Whether or not you believe they did it on purpose or not, whether or not you're going to be one of those people who will forego watching Justice League the opening weekend and maybe put that off till later so you can stay home and watch Punisher, or vice versa. Let me ask you this. And I'm just curious to know what you think. Do you think this will have an impact either positively or negatively on either Punisher or Justice League? Do you think this move will have an impact on either? Or do you really think at the end of the day it's much ado about nothing and maybe it won't have an impact on either of them? That's always possible too. I just find it very odd that two major comic book properties, granted one's on the big screen, one's on the small screen, but the fact that you would launch two major comic book properties on the same day, especially when you're Netflix, like Justice League by Warner Brothers, they have to plan this well in advance. They have certain things that they can't move. I mean, it's different for them. Netflix, it's your own platform. You can drop it anytime you want. Without any coordination, without anything, you can just drop it and put it online whenever you want. And you're all coming out on the same day. That smells a little bit to me. It smells a little bit to me. But ultimately, maybe have an effect. Maybe it won't have an effect. We're just going to have to wait and see. All right, guys. Let's now go over to what's going to be the main part of the show here, which is me taking your Twitter questions. So once again, if you're watching live, you can tweet into me at John Campea. It's just that simple. So without any further ado, let's go on to the first Twitter question today. Remember, I don't have time to screen these, so some of these questions will be good, some of them will be bad. But the first Twitter question today is coming to us from Johnny in London. And Johnny in London is writing, "Hey, John Campea, what reforms do you believe are needed in Hollywood to prevent another Weinstein happening again?" Hashtag John Campea Show. The issue, this is what I've been trying to get across to a lot of people. This is not a Hollywood issue. Don't fool yourself into thinking this is a Hollywood issue. A recent study I read suggests that 1 in 3 women have reported being sexually harassed or sexually assaulted, like the Kevin Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein thing. My apologies to anybody out there named Kevin Weinstein. Sorry about that. That means the problem is massively bigger than the Hollywood industry. This goes into the farming industry. This goes into the fast food industry. This goes into the fashion industry. This goes into the music industry. This goes everywhere. What reforms are needed to make sure something like this doesn't happen again? There's a couple of things that make it very difficult. But one thing that I think is that when you're in a company situation, in a corporation, probably the HR department needs to be more accessible and more available. Human resource departments are the pits of hell in most companies. They're impossible to deal with. They are devil's spawn. My experience, except for at Complex, I had a very good experience with the HR people at Complex. But like HR people at AMC, I love AMC Theaters. I love that company. I still have a very warm place in my heart for AMC. The HR department at AMC Theaters are the pits of hell, spawn incompetent monkeys. I take that back. If you go to the zoo and break out a group of monkeys, they would be more competent than the HR department at AMC Theaters. Just my opinion, but there you go. But besides that, I have a lot of love for the company as a whole. Anyway, but HR departments, I think, across companies need to be a lot more accessible and be less the enemy to their employees and be ready to stand up and help. But here's one of the things that's going to make it very difficult. You know, I've read online there are some people who knew, like, let's stick with the Harvey Weinstein situation. There are some people who knew what was going on with Harvey Weinstein, right? There are some people who knew that Harvey Weinstein was assaulting women. But those people, and some people understandably are saying, those people are jerks then if they didn't come forward. If they knew that Harvey Weinstein was doing that, those people are jerks for not doing it. And I actually think it's tougher than that, because what about respect for the victim? You know, this is where I'm caught in my philosophy is that, look, there's a number of men now coming forward who admitted that they knew more. But what should they have done aside from just talking to Harvey personally? Because if like being assaulted is a traumatic and awful thing. And if, you know, let's say, I keep on reaching for Hulk, I don't know. Let's say Hulk knew that somebody got sexually assaulted, okay? Well, you need to respect the wishes of the victim. And if the victim isn't in a place where they want the scrutiny or the embarrassment or whatever, if the victim doesn't want to come forward with it, because of whatever their reasons are, is it the Hulk's place then to force the victim now to be put into the public spotlight? That's a tricky question to me. That's why I believe the answer is that HR departments and people who are in charge need to be more accessible and make a process that's much more friendly and easy and less traumatic for victims. So anyway, that's the way I think things need to go. Look, there is no simple, quick answer. There is no simple, quick answer. This is an issue that's been going on in the world for centuries. So it's not going to be fixed overnight. Let's not pretend that the answers are simple, but at least people are starting to ask the questions, and that's going to lead to positive change. All right, let's move on to the next question here. The next question, already took one from Johnny. Okay, Clay19 writes, John, thoughts on the director of Snowman trashing his own movie before it comes out? Well, let's be clear here. He didn't trash on his own movie. Like some people are saying, the director is coming out and speaking out against his own movie. If you read the comments, put them in context. He was explaining why the movie didn't quite work out the way he wanted, but let's not go into hyperbole and say he's out there trashing the movie, because you're creating an illusion. He's out there, this movie that I just made completely sucks. This is ass. Nobody should go see it. That's trashing it. He didn't trash it, but he did acknowledge weaknesses in the film. And it's a bad film. The Snowman is a bad film. But I don't think, and from a PR point of view, he should have probably kept his mouth shut until after the movie was in theaters for a week or two, from a professional point of view. Because if I'm a producer and I put up, X number of millions of dollars to make this movie, and I paid the director, like the director got paid to do this job, then professionalism suggests that if you don't like the movie the way it came out, professionalism suggests, hey, look, you took a paycheck for that. Unless you're willing to give your paycheck back, you should probably stay quiet, at least until later. Like later come out and acknowledge the weaknesses in your film and blah, 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 blah. But if the producer A gave you a check, a big check, bigger checks than most people will earn in a year, and you got handed that check, then professionalism suggests you should not comment on this until after the movie's out. And then after the movie's been out for a week or two, if you want to address some of the reasons you think the movie didn't quite work and you were the director of it, that's fine. Otherwise, if you want to come out and speak against the movie that you didn't put up the money for, but you actually got paid for, I think you should only be allowed to do that if you hand your paycheck back. If you want to hand it, but again, I don't think what he said was really all that bad. I think if you look at it in context, it wasn't all that terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't all that bad. All right, let's try the next one here. And the next one comes to us from the Carl Zone, who writes, John, how would you rank the Marvel Netflix so far, season by season? Okay, so I would go the best one. The top two are both the Daredevil shows. I'll actually go Daredevil season 2, then Daredevil season 1. I know a lot of people put Daredevil season 1 at the top, and that's cool. I'm not going to argue with you. I love that season, but I'll go Daredevil season 2, Daredevil season 1. I'll then go Luke Cage, but Luke Cage was half good. The first half of the season was really great. The second half, not so good. So I'll go Daredevil season 2, Daredevil season 1, Luke Cage, Defenders. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to put Defenders above Luke Cage. All right. Daredevil season 2, Daredevil season 1, Defenders, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, down at the bottom, Iron Fist. So that's how I would rank them. Let's see how hopefully Punisher cracks that top 3. It'd be really good if it did, because honestly, the Netflix shows, I like Defenders, but I'm not doing backflips over Defenders. I thought it was good. I enjoyed the season. I binged it all in one sitting. I liked it very much, but it wasn't on the same level as Daredevil. And honestly, for me, I'm one of the few people that, while I thought what they were going for in Jessica Jones was great, I didn't think it executed right. So I thought I didn't like Jessica Jones all that much. Luke Cage started great, finished weak. Iron Fist is the worst thing. Before Inhumans came along, Iron Fist was the worst thing that Marvel has ever put out on the big screen or the small screen. And then Inhumans came along, and that took the thing on that. But let's see how Punisher does. Let's hope for good things. Let's see. Next one comes to us from Z Benally, who writes, John, I heard the Punisher was dropping at Comic-Con, but the Nevada shooting delayed it. Do you think the recent... and then the thing gets cut off? No, I believe that. I believe that they had one plan to release it, and then the shooting incident in Las Vegas created a scenario where they decided, I don't think they needed to do this, but I applaud them for doing it. They felt it would be sensitive to move the date. Fine. It doesn't answer why you had to then drop it on the exact same day as Justice League. But yes, I do believe them when they say that the Nevada shooting thing had something to do with them moving it. I think that was sensitive of them. I don't think they had to do it. I think it would have been perfectly fine if they kept their date, but I do applaud them for their decision to move it. All right, let's go on to the next one. This one comes from Vlad K82, who writes, John, what do you think of Rodriguez's film 100 Years, set to be released in the 22nd century? It's an interesting experiment. I mean, none of us are going to be around to see it, but it's an interesting experiment. So, hey, if you thought that would be fun, why not? Let's see. Next one comes to us from Rishish17281601, writes, John, how about a Green Lantern show in the Arrowverse? Too high budget. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do that show right, it's probably too high budget of a show. I would rather just see them focus their Green Lantern attention on the big screen, personally. Let's see. Let's move on now. We got time for a few more here. Let's go on to the next one. And this one, why can't I get it to come up? There it is. Luis Anthony 65A writes, John, could we get an Incredibles 2 teaser next week to coincide with Coco's premiere in Mexico, October 27th? You know what? I just did a video about my most anticipated movies coming up in 2018. Incredibles 2 release date. And I mentioned what the Incredibles 2 release date was. It's June 15th. You know what? It's far enough away that they don't need to put out an Incredibles 2 trailer yet, but we're within a reasonable window for our first trailer. I think the movie's still like 9 months away. It's October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. Anyway, we're about 9 months away, 8 months away, to be specific. That's an okay window if you wanted to drop it first. I'm totally fine if they don't drop an Incredibles 2 trailer until 3 or 4 months out. That's perfectly fine for me. But if they wanted to drop one now, that could be possible. And you know what? If you guys have been watching me for any period of time, you know, I think Pixar is going to struggle a little bit with how many people they can get out to see Coco, because I think there are going to be some parents that don't want to take their kids to see a movie about death and Land of the Dead and all that kind of stuff. It could work in their favor if they said, come see Coco, and if they don't release it online and say, come see Coco to be the first to see the new trailer for Incredibles 2. Maybe that could help their box office. I don't know. It's not something any movie has done for quite a while, but it could be an interesting thing for them to try. That would be cool to see. All right, let's try this one. This one comes to us from, again, Johnny in London. Hey, John Campea, what shows are not that well known in the public, but that are so good they should be? I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, not enough people watch Supernatural. But you know what? I don't watch a whole ton of television. I just don't have time to watch a whole ton of television. Like, I know guys like my buddy Josh McCouga watches like 40 different shows. I watch about 12 shows, maybe. So I'm really not the best person to answer that question. Okay, let's try this. Augie B77, John Campea, the violence white men have caused in Charlottesville and Vegas police shooting unarmed Americans. This isn't a black or white issue. Look, let's not get into a contest of seeing of all the shooting deaths. I think there were like 15,000 in America last week. How many were done by white guys? How many were done by Asian guys? How many were Latino guys? How many were done by black guys? How many were done by Eastern European guys? Let's not get into that. That's not constructive or helpful for anybody. Next question comes to us from Matt Yamasaki. John, do you think an Avengers-style League of Extraordinary Gentlemen would work? I don't know what you mean by an Avengers-style League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was Avengers-style. It was. I worked on that movie to one degree. I in that movie, that's a bad movie, man. So, I like I said, I think you answer your own question. The first League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was an Avengers style of movie, and it failed pretty bad. Now, look, any concept can work with the right story and the right script and the right director, and like anything can work. You guys all remember my great example of Felipe, the sentient dancing microphone. You know, Felipe the Sentient Dancing Microphone. That can be a great movie. That can be an Oscar-winning movie if you have the right story and the right script and the right director and the right performers and the right production company and the right this and the right that. Sure, anything can be great. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen can be great. Sure, it could. But will it? That's another question altogether. All right. Let's see here. Next one. Elijah UA writes, John, will your wife work at Hasbro? My wife does work at Hasbro, as a matter of fact. So that's why she's been gone. Actually, today's an exciting day for me. A little bit after I'm done the show today, I'm going to first I'm going to relax for a few minutes, have myself some breakfast because it's only 8:30 here in the morning. Going to have myself some breakfast, get cleaned up, and then I'm going to drive to the airport and pick up my wife. I have not seen my wife in almost 2 months. She has been in Hong Kong for nearly 2 months on work for Hasbro. She doesn't work for the studio though, although the toys and things like that she makes are for the studio, yes. But she works on the Hasbro side, on the toy company side. Let's see. This one comes to us from Fit290129 writes, John, how do you see the mention of Bruce Wayne in Arrow? Do you think we will see Batman anytime soon? I kind of answered this yesterday. No, it means nothing. It means nothing. Remember, and I mentioned this on the show the other day too, remember the other season on The Flash? When Flash went to an alternative universe where his parents didn't die? And on speed dial, they've got Arthur, Aquaman, and Atlantis, and Bruce, and Oliver. And so, I mean, that was all done before. It doesn't mean anything. All it is a quick little wink to the audience to get everybody excited. It does not mean anything. We are not going to see Batman in the Arrowverse, okay? We're not going to see Batman in the Arrowverse. At least not anytime soon until leadership changes at Warner Brothers and they decide to completely revamp their strategy. In the meantime, we're not going to see Batman. It was just a reference. He wanted to reference a millionaire also in the thing. Why not Bruce Wayne and get the fans excited? It's a nice little Easter egg, but it doesn't ultimately mean anything. Let's see. Next one comes to us from Delgado26R, who writes, John, do you think that Quentin Tarantino is retiring after executing his plans, or will he make more? I do not believe for 1 second that Quentin Tarantino is retiring. I believe he believes it for now, but he's not going to retire. He's a creative force. He's a filmmaker. He's going to get the itch. 8 months after he says he's retired, he's going to make another one. Remember, he also said, I'm not going to make Hateful Eight now. You remember? He put out, I'm not making Hateful Eight now because somebody leaked the script. So I'm not making that movie. 6 months later, they're in production of Hateful Eight. So no, I don't believe for a second that Quentin Tarantino is not going to be doing more films after that. Okay, the next question comes to us from Devontae Brown. John, do you think Narcos will be canceled after Netflix was threatened by Escobar's brother and a location scout was murdered? No, they're not going to cancel that show. I tell you what right now, first of all, if you want to get it into a dick swinging contest, Netflix wins. Netflix has way more money and power than any distant foreseen relatives of Pablo Escobar. But I don't believe those stories. And yes, there was a location scout murdered. Nobody ever proved it had anything to do with the show, though. So no, they are not going to cancel the show. No chance in hell that they're going to cancel the show. So don't even worry about that. Let's see. This one comes to us from PCheek95, who writes, John, have you considered meeting with the Collider crew to do a commentary, or does scheduling, etc., make it too difficult? I don't know why I would. Don't get me wrong. I love my former employees over at Collider. I do. I still speak with many of them. I still have lunch with many of them. We hang out and sit together at movie screenings together. It's all good. But I do my channel now. They do theirs. And no, I have not considered going over there to do that. Why would I when I could make my own for my channel? It's not to say that I won't ever do a guest appearance here or there, maybe sometime in the future, but even that's looking unlikely that I'll ever do that. Look, I am no longer with Collider. I made the decision to leave. And I am super thrilled. I miss the people there, yes, but I am super thrilled with my decision to leave. I have never been this happy since leaving Collider. Don't get me wrong, there are things I loved about being at Collider, but I have always been most happy when I don't work for a corporation. And, one of the reasons, and I told the guys at Collider this when I left, I said, look, maybe someday I'll come on and do guest stuff, but we need to make it at least 4, 5, 6 months before we even consider that, because I don't want to create any confusion, because I have left before and then you guys have asked me to come back and I've come back. And that has happened a couple of times. So I don't want to create any confusion with the audience. I want the attention at Collider to be on the people at Collider. I'm not Collider anymore. So I want the attention to be on the Ken Knapsacks. I want the attention there to be on the Josh McCougas, to be on the Mark Ellises, to be on the Christian Harloffs, to be on the Perry Nemiroffs. That's who I want the attention to be on. And said, I'm not going to come back for any of that. So no, I am not, most likely I'm not going to be going back to be doing anything with them at this point. I still cheer for them. I created that thing over there. It's my baby. I still cheer for it. I want to see it succeed, but it's got to do it without me there. And they're doing just fine. They're doing just fine without me there. All right, let's move on to the next thing. And the next thing comes to us from JPEC 1098. John, what are your honorable mentions for most anticipated films of 2018, not comic book movies? Mine are Predator, Bohemian Rhapsody, absolutely Predator, Bohemian Rhapsody, Ready Player One is definitely another one. A lot of people ask me, John, why didn't, like, Steven Spielberg's your all-time favorite director, why didn't you put Ready Player One on your list of most anticipated? The reason it didn't get in my top 10 is because I like the trailer for Ready Player One. But I've watched it a whole bunch of times now. Something doesn't sit right with me. I don't know why. And Spielberg is my all-time number one favorite filmmaker. Something isn't sitting right with me with the trailer. I don't know why. So if I was going to be honest, I mean, I could have put it up there because Steven Spielberg is my favorite filmmaker. So I'm putting his movie on my top 10. But if I was going to be honest, I have to admit I was looking more forward to those 10 movies than any of the others. All right, let's just have time now for a couple of quick other ones. This next one comes to us from Victor Lynn 212. John, did you watch Arrow last night? You know what? I didn't watch Arrow last night. I got into binge watching the Netflix series Mindhunter. I was only going to watch 2 or 3 episodes, but I ended up watching about 8 before I needed to go to bed last night. So I will watch probably Arrow. Maybe I'll have time to squeeze in watching last night's episode of Arrow before I leave for the airport to go pick up Anne. So we'll see about that. Which brings us to the next question. Movies Mega, who just happens to be asking about Mindhunter. Have you seen the new Mindhunter TV series by David Fincher on Netflix? If so, what are your thoughts? I'm going to save my thoughts till I finish the last 2 or 3 episodes, and then I will be putting up a video review of Mindhunter. But clearly, I just told you, I planned on watching 3 episodes last night. I ended up watching 8. So that should tell you something, but I'll do a review of that pretty soon here. Let's see. Last 2 questions of the day. I'm trying to see if I can find one with that that's been asked by somebody who hasn't asked a question yet. We'll go with this one. Boston Brandon 91 writes, any idea when we could see a possible first Aquaman trailer? No idea. You know, to me, you know my feelings on this. It's fine if they want to release one now. I think it's useless. Honestly, I think any trailer you drop more than 3 or 4 months out is pointless. Totally pointless. Because any excitement has died off by then. You know? Just start your marketing campaigns 3 or 4 months before the movie comes out. I really, that's my thoughts on it. I have no problem with them doing it the other way, but it'd just be neat to see that they didn't do that. All right, last question of the day, and this one comes to us from Heston Roberts, who writes, John, what movie are you most excited to watch with your wife that she hasn't seen in the last 2 months? Woo, well, here's the thing. Where Anne was staying, they got her an apartment in Hong Kong. And she was staying right by this really high-end movie theater that had like a theater with only like 25 seats, but they're like these beds with all this. She sent me pictures. It was crazy. I was jealous as hell. One ticket was like $30 though to go into it, but she's been keeping up on most of the movies. The one she hasn't seen is Thor Ragnarok. And so I'm very excited to take her to see Thor Ragnarok. I'm going to go to see it for a 3rd time in the next couple of days. So I will take her to see it with me when she comes back. But I'm very excited because I think she's going to love that movie. So I'm really excited about that one. All right, guys, that will do it for me for this installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, jump into the comment section, leave your thoughts and opinions on all the stuff that we talked about. But remember, we're all on the same side. We're all fans of movies and television. Even if you like one set of movies and somebody else likes another set, we can disagree and argue and debate passionately even. That's fun. But do it remembering that we're on the same side. Let's show the world that we can do this a little bit better. Remember, guys, if you're watching this, if you're relatively new to the show, make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you become a subscriber on my YouTube channel. Make sure you follow me on social media. And listen, I forgot to do my shameless plug earlier, but my shows are only made possible by the support of my Patreon supporters. Do me a favor, if you like my content, head on over to www.patreon.com/John Campea and get all the information there and see if you can become a Patreon supporter of mine. If you can, that's awesome. You're making these shows possible. But if you can't, that's totally fine too. I'm just glad you're participating in the conversation. So that'll do it for me, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. My name's John Campea. And until next time, bye-bye.